Hello and welcome to part 51. I just want to make another clarification. Pardon me. I said that Islam isn't going away, and I believe that's the honest truth. And I also said that Israel isn't going away, or Judaism. That's not going to happen either. And Iran isn't going away, and nor is I need to say this, I think Palestine isn't going away either. It's not going to dissolve or something, or be usurped or whatever. It will continue. The only question is what will happen next. I don't like what I see. So what I was going to suggest is that now I'm not trying to say anything bad about the Israelis, but maybe the fence is just a fence because it's bait, to get you to try to go towards the fence and try and overthrow it and try and get through and all that, and maybe you will succeed, maybe you won't. But it's only a fence just to provoke you. It could be a checkpoint or a heavier wall or a gate or something like that, and I think it's that way for a reason. To show your frustration as maybe a violent tendency or something like that, and give credence to the fact that they can't make peace with you. So in lieu of that, I suggest a different tact is in order. Maybe staying, when the embassy does arrive, perhaps further into Gaza, well into Gaza, you could have some sort of peaceful protest, not having anything to do with that fence, because that's just asking for trouble for both peoples. And I'm not blaming either people. I'm just saying that it's a bad situation for both. So, peacefully demonstrate well within the borders of Gaza, well far away from the fence, and maybe they'll have greater numbers that way. And try for political influence. Use your political clout. I know Hamas has gone through some changes into governmental duties rather than being more than 20 years ago or whatever it was, a different kind of group. So why not petition for full statehood, and maybe we can get funding into Gaza, into the West Bank, get it looking really nice, maybe an extension on the land in the meantime, until hopefully Israel will come around and see that there should be a two-state solution. But I think if they're not going to offer peace right now, or engage in peace negotiations, I think that what needs to happen is lobbying for full statehood status is the primary objective. I know some will object or whatever, and the UN has to have a system where not one member of the council can just veto everything, or two or three or whatever. There has to be a two-thirds majority vote or something who thinks so. Now, one of the problems you have is in Gaza is people doing things that are shall we say, seeming violent or semi-violent or whatever. Going to the fence is provocative, and trying to breach the fence is provocative. So doing so only weakens your position. It doesn't strengthen it. I don't foresee, even if you got through the fence, what then? You just get shot, What purpose would that serve, except to show that you're doing something that maybe you shouldn't, even though it may be your land. It's not something you should do. For now, that is their sovereign land, unfortunately. But there is hope. Hopefully a lot of money can go into Gaza, maybe make an extension on the land out over the water to give you some more room and inject something into the economy where you can be making money and peacefully. I mean, I don't mean anything violent, guns or anything like that, but some means to make some money. Maybe beautify Gaza and make it a state, make the West Bank a state, both together, even though they're separate for now. I do believe the train is on the way. That is my belief. I don't know if it'll happen, but I can't guarantee you that, but I think that's what's necessary if Palestine is not going away, and it is not. So why not gather there, and then maybe the press can get in to that area, because they shouldn't be near the fence, and so you're not going to get the press you need by the fence. So go further into Gaza, and maybe the press will meet you there, and you can drum up support for full statehood status. And I really believe you deserve this, albeit some of the methods employed I don't agree with, the burning of tires, and it's provocative. It's using terror, or I mean, I know you're frustrated and you're using frustration methods, methods displaying your frustration with it. Why not just speak your mind and say this is how things are, and tell the truth, and say we need full statehood status, and maybe that has to happen before there's a peace settlement. Jerusalem being the last leg of this settlement. Perhaps, yes, it's true that the U.S. jumped the gun and put the embassy there first for Israel, but I think also there should be an embassy for Palestine there too, and there should be both capitals in Jerusalem, and then the other people need to be taken account for. Those that live in Jerusalem, that will live in Jerusalem, they need to be considered too. But please peacefully protest. I mean, it's a trap, is what it is. The gate, the fence. It's not even a gate; it's a fence, and it's enticing to try to get through it or whatever. Makes a statement or something like that, but don't do it. Don't fall for it. Go to further into Gaza and protest there. I don't know if there's a space in the West Bank that's suitable for peaceful protest. These protests seem to turn into something not as peaceful as I'd like. So, especially in Gaza, I'd say a peaceful protest well into Gaza. Maybe the press can get in by way of water or something, or whatever it may be, but the press can get in there, and you could even hold a press conference or something. I know the time is short, it's coming up, but something to the effect, I mean, signs saying, maybe even in English, just so the world will understand just exactly what the plight is, and don't be ashamed of the deplorable conditions. It may bode well for you. Dilapidated buildings, or puddles, or unhealthy water or something may bode well for you, in the thought that you should be a state and get more money and whatnot. So don't be ashamed of that. That is your plight right now. You are under occupation, and you should speak your mind, and not wrongly. I mean, don't lash out at Israelis, because remember, you're going to have to get along with them. For this to truly work, you'll have to get along well, or coexist and work together well and all that. So you don't want to alienate them. A little picture of an alien. Alienate them from the Palestinian people. They're sort of intertwined by Jerusalem, I think, is how this is going to be. Albeit there'll be other ethnicities and religions there, or lack thereof, in Jerusalem. You'll need to work together, and you'll need to show that you're nonviolent. That's one of the things that the Israelis are looking for, is to see if you're nonviolent people, if they are indeed considering allowing you to be a partner in peace. And so being nonviolent is very important, and them not having to use violence is very important. So stay away from that fence in that area, please. I was going to say I beg, but I don't beg, but I would insist that you stay away from that area, even though this is a tumultuous time. And so protest away, and maybe have the press interview you on your plight, and really lobby for statehood. Then lobby to the UN for statehood, full statehood status, and don't use any violent means. I mean, I don't know if you can rein in everyone, but please definitely try, or do so. And that's about all I have to say. Is for Israel, I understand why they protest. I mean, it can be so volatile. I understand why they're using some force. I don't know if I agree with the amount of force, but the fence, again, I think, is just a trap. It looks like it's something that can be breached, and you go for it, and you get shot, you get killed, whatever. People get hurt. A 16-year-old boy was shot in the head. I mean, what did he know about staying away from the fence? So the adults have to be adult about it, and just peacefully protest. I mean, I think you have all the cards to reach full statehood status, and lobbying for that is what the primary objective should be, as well as a acceptable peace settlement, getting that land back, but do it politically. Do it through discourse, or speaking, or talks. Use the media, maybe talk to the UN, draft a letter to the UN requesting full statehood status, meet in person with the UN. I don't know, but these are actions you can take instead of dwelling on that silly fence. I mean, I know it's not silly, but beyond it is quite possibly going to be your land, I think, eventually. But you have to wait. You have to go through proper channels, and not act out. I know you're frustrated now. You're angry, or whatever. But things may not be as bad as they seem. You may have all the cards in place to. We use this expression, meaning you have all the right things, the right reasons for full statehood status and legitimate peace with Israel. And so please do this. I implore you to do this. But As for Israel, I hope they can see it in their hearts to allow for there not to be an occupation, and seriously consider meeting with the UN about a peace settlement, maybe after, I don't know, but please take these actions seriously. Don't do anything violent, or throw stones, anything, nothing at all. No kites, no nothing, no tires. Use this frustration, use this energy you have to lobby for your existence as it should be, verbally, and don't shout. Speak softly and accomplish this goal. Talk to the UN, talk to the reporters. I strongly suggest this is the best avenue to take, even though this is a monumental thing to you. It's just a building is another thought. Is there going to be anyone there? Probably not too many people. So please hear me out and maybe listen to this again. So good luck, and please do this. Thank you. Bye.